I'm sorry about that commercial cut into my podcast, but going back to what I was saying, witchcraft is a part of deception. It's not just about them using the wands, and it's just magic. That's basically what it is, magic, fake, and all that stuff that I was doing is magic. I made myself look a certain way that I really didn't look. Because I used to take a lot of pictures of myself. And even when I had all that makeup on and the weaves and the lashes, I still added fakeness to my pictures. I added, embellishments on my pictures. Like I would, remove my bags underneath my eye, even though I had makeup on, but you could still kind of see it. I removed, like, maybe if you look closely, you could see maybe a tiny little bump on my face. I might remove it. Or if there was something, like, I'll use an example, like my wig. Like if there was a situation where my wig, you can see my cap, like, the cap that a woman wears underneath her wig. If you could see, I would try to edit it out. All I'm trying to say is, even with me wearing all that full face of makeup and weave, I still was editing my pictures, and that's witchcraft. You're making people think you look a certain type of way. So going back to these magazines that people have, you think you want to look like these women in these magazines, but they don't even look like that in real life. Not saying that they're not beautiful women, not saying that these models are not beautiful, but what I'm saying is these models, they don't even look like the way that they look in those pictures. Their pictures are edited too. It goes back to models, celebrities, actresses, singers. They all deal with witchcraft. It's all witchcraft when they're making you want to look like them, and you don't even look like that. So I guarantee you, people who are looking at my social media, they probably was like, oh, she's so pretty. They probably was jealous of me, not knowing that, not that I didn't look like that. I still had the same features. I didn't, do any plastic surgery on my features. I'm going to delve into that too. Plastic surgery, in my opinion, is a form of witchcraft too, because you got to think about it. That's not your real nose. That's not your real lips. That's not your real jawline. That's not your real cheek line. That's not your real hairline. That's not your real lashes. That's not your real ass. That's not your real titties. And I'm not hating, because if I had money, I probably would, get lipo or some shit like that. And I thought about getting a Brazilian butt lift, but you got to understand that's a form of witchcraft. So I got to get myself out of that mindset instead of, going that route. Think about it in a different way, without having to harm your body or, deceive people. But what I'm trying to say is witchcraft is magic. And, I feel like a lot of times, based off of people you're around or what you let into your life, it can bring that type of stuff into your life. Granted, some people, have people like that in their family. So it's inevitable. It's inevitable for them to, run into them. If you have people like that in your family or close circle near you, it's kind of hard for you to bypass that. But another form of witchcraft is spells, putting spells on people. Saying somebody will never amount to anything, saying somebody ain't shit, when saying somebody will never be shit. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I get it. Some people, they really ain't shit, but it's, if you're gonna say that, make sure that person has proved to you that they really ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people really just prove to you that they really ain't shit. But what I'm trying to say is, you get what I'm trying to say. It's spells. They're putting spells on people's life. That goes for me. Like, I have to fight constantly in my life because I have to elevate constantly. I have to prove to myself that I don't want to fail, and I don't want to be in that situation where people's words come true in my life. I don't want people's witchcraft to come true on my life. Sometimes people will put things on your life, and if you allow it, it can affect your life. And I'm trying to fight every single day so that won't work. And, I'm not perfect either. I've said some negative things about people, but I try to stay away from saying that, I've tried to stay away from putting things on people's life, if that makes sense. So like I said, dealing with that, I have to, like I said, fight almost every single day with myself internally and physically by defending myself to make sure that people's words don't have any type of effect on my life, if that makes sense. But What's another form of witchcraft? Like I said, plastic surgery, all that type of stuff. But here on this podcast, we're just being open and honest. We're being real. And, we're just being honest about everything, how we feel about certain things. And, like I said, regardless of what people think, I'm a very spiritual person. I am in tune with a lot of different, I'm in tune with myself, and I'm in tune with the spiritual side of myself. And what I mean by that is, praying to the Most High God, asking God to give me spirit of discernment, and making sure that I can hear God and see God in what He's trying to tell me. And I know a lot of the times that might be a problem for me because I'm still dealing with some mental things. And what I mean by mental things, I mean, like I said, fighting off the things that people try to put on my life. And even fighting off the words that I put on my life. Like I said, it's nothing wrong with having positive affirmations for yourself. It's nothing wrong with having a list of positive affirmations for yourself. Well, like I said, this is my favorite spot to be, is on my podcast. This is my happy space. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. This is Podcast Diaries number 28. And my title is Witchcraft and Being Sleep Deprived. Good night.